There we go. We are back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. It's Beat the Book. I'm Matty Betts. That's Big Al Better. Coming to you guys with a live stream, full recap of the divisional round of the NFL playoffs that just happened. Welcome to the show, and welcome to you, Big Al. How you doing?
Doing great, Matt. How have you been?
I've been good, man. Watching a lot of football, a lot of good games this weekend.
Mm.
Today we had two exciting games, pretty close too. Um, and then yeah, kind of came down to the wire in both games. Both teams had a chance to either tie or win the game, and just the ball didn't really bounce their way. For the Rams, they looked really good,
Oh,
really good.
heartbreaking,
Heartbreaker
man.
right
They
there.
defense played so good. They allowed two really explosive plays. It could have been three if AJ Brown would have held on to that catch that was right next to the goal line. But they gave up the big 44-yard run to Jalen. They gave up the 60-yard run to Saquon at the end of the first quarter. Other than that, the defense played really good. They were all over Hurts all day long. Verse had a great game.
Yeah, Jared Verse, he was the one talking a lot of crap leading up to the game, saying he hates the
Yep.
Eagles, he hates the colors, it just like gets his blood
Mm-hmm.
boiling. So good
Loved
for
it.
him. I mean, he had a great game, but it just wasn't enough to be able to beat them. I mean, Saquon having two 60-yard touchdowns didn't help. Fun stat on that one. The first time that they played, he had 255 rushing yards, right? He had
You had
205 rushing,
250.
255.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
205 tonight, right? And in the
Sure.
last time that they played, 60, both of his touchdowns in that game were 60 plus yarders, same as in this game too. Pretty wild. Saquon likes playing against the Rams. What can we say? Saquon is him. There's a reason he's the best rusher in the
Yes.
league this year.
Yeah, it turns out when there's a 2,000-yard rusher playing against you, if you're the defense, maybe you should sell out to stop him. And the second level has to be really good because once he gets past the big fellas up front, it's like your safeties have to be locked in, and your linebackers have to be able to, you know, shadow him and be able to take him down. And they just didn't do a good enough job of doing that. But it's Saquon Barkley. A lot of people aren't good at doing that. I'm not trying to throw shade at the Rams. I think the defense played an incredible game. It's just when it's Saquon and then they can beat you over the top. Goddard, is going to make his catches, and AJ Brown, he got targeted 7 times. I think he only had one or two catches.
Yeah, no, not a good game for him. I will say, this is kind of the recap of the game, so we can kind of go through it. I'm not sure how you want to do it. Obviously, it's a live stream, so we're kind of just
Normally,
playing it by ear.
last week when we did our recap, or on Monday, I guess, we just took it. We started with the first game and worked our way down the list.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we even talked about our bets, though.
We didn't even mention our bets. No,
Do you want to mention our bets
I
this
think we
time
mentioned the
around?
bets as we go along, huh?
I was thinking the same thing. May as well talk about them. What went right? What went
Sure.
wrong? We'll just start with. I
Okay.
mean, we were talking a lot about the Rams. We could start there if you want to, or we could just start with yesterday's games and just go in order.
I think we started Chiefs Texans, and put a pin in the Rams conversation. We'll come back around to it.
Okay, sounds good. Chiefs Texans, 23-14. Chiefs get the win. Texans are going home. C.J. Stroud was hurt. Literally acted like he was hurt. He's a faker. In my opinion, that's my humble, honest opinion. I'm not biased at all toward the Texans, but I mean, he literally is like limping off the field and then comes back and has a 20-yard rush. Like it doesn't make any sense. No other quarterback's doing that. So chalk it up to him either being really good or him just trying to fake it, try to catch the defense, put the defense like, oh, we don't have to guard this guy because he's not going to run, so we can play deeper coverage now. And then he pulls
Sure.
off a 20-yard run, looks fine on it, and when it's over, he's not limping back to the huddle or anything. So I think it was all just a ploy. I don't think he was actually hurt. And then it's a good excuse, too, at the end when the game's over, and it's like, well, nobody's really going to question him because, oh, he was hurt the whole game, though. So good on him for saving face by, faking an injury. Good for him. They'll better luck next year. But yeah, Chiefs, we kind of expected it. Um, if I can go back to it, I already have it pulled up. Texans were plus 8.5. Obviously they lose by
Yep.
9, so they don't cover there.
Yep.
You and I were both on them plus 8.5, and then we were
Yep.
both on the over 41.5, which did not hit either.
Did not hit. Yeah.
Yeah, so really bad game for us. We were both on the same side of it. We said 8.5's too many, which technically it kind of was like 8.5. Like they lost by 9. Like it just sucks. Like we were right there.
Well, the Texans just didn't do much. Like they had a chance early in the game. The Chiefs started very slow. They weren't doing a ton, and even the announcers mentioning it's like they haven't played in a long time. You're probably going to start a little sluggish, and that's what you saw. And the Texans started fast. They were doing what they needed to do, but then second half they couldn't do much, and then too many errors. They turned the ball over too many times, and just they weren't when you're coming at the king, you can't miss, and that's they just missed yesterday taking on the Chiefs, which the Chiefs woke up and they did what the Chiefs do. There were a couple penalties that were kind of questionable, and but that's what it is when you play the Chiefs. I just feel bad for Joe Mixon because Mixon had a great game. He had over 100 yards rushing. He was killing it. Like I think he had over 100 yards rushing, right? Oh, he had 88 yards, so almost 100 yards rushing. But no, I mean he played a great game. Nico Collins took a while to get going. He ends with 5 catches, 81 yards. Stroud had 245 yards, so they played a good game. It just wasn't good enough.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing too. Like you and I talked about it as well. And we're like, if the Texans want to win this game, come out to a hot start, get like a 10-point lead or whatever, and kind of just keep
Mm-hmm.
that with you. Kind of like what we saw a week ago, or no, we saw that
Mm-hmm.
in the night game
Yep.
with the Commanders. Like 10-point lead, keep
Yep.
it. But that's kind of like the thing is like the Texans, they just kind of squandered opportunities, didn't get off to as hot of a
Mm-hmm.
start as we thought. The Chiefs, just like we kind of predicted, they got off to a slow start. We knew it was going to take them a couple drives to get going. It did, but they were still able to score. It's not like they scored a ton of points in this game. I mean, they only had 23.
Yep.
So the Chiefs didn't score a lot, but this is how they've been beating everybody. It's they don't score a lot of points, but their defense is just good enough to keep them in games and give them a chance at the end. And I mean, they didn't even need really a chance at the end because it was 23-14. So they were still up by
Mm-hmm.
2 possessions.
Well, I mean, you look at the box score, and it's like Kansas City doesn't even score in the third quarter. But we talked about it after the game. It's like that Texans drive to start the third quarter. It's great. Like you go down and you score, which is what you needed to do. But then you miss the extra point, which
Hmm.
whatever. Kickers are going to miss kicks every
Yeah,
now
if you
and
didn't
then.
miss it, then
But
we would have actually hit the
but
hit the spread.
taking 11 minutes to go down and drive the field to only tie the game. Like, I get you're keeping Mahomes on the sideline. You're not letting him touch the ball, but you take away all that time that you could have used later on in the game to go score again.
Yeah,
And that
exactly.
was the issue. Like, there were when you're going to use up almost all of the third quarter just to score, and then Mahomes and the company get the ball back, they use the rest of the quarter. Like, now you're down to the fourth quarter and you're still behind.
Hmm.
And that's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, it's great to have a 12-minute drive or an 11-minute drive. It's fine
Sure.
if you're either down by 3 and you score to take the lead, or
Mm-hmm.
if you're ahead. But
Right.
the 11-minute drive doesn't help you when you're still going to be down points anyway after you score.
Correct.
You're not giving yourself an opportunity because then you're relying on your defense against one of the greatest quarterbacks that we've ever seen play the game of football, which is not a good recipe. Like you got to be able to get down the field fast enough to be like, hey, hopefully we can get a takeaway, or hopefully we can
And
force a
the
punt.
reigning champs. The reigning champs.
The reigning,
Back champs.
yeah, the
Right.
back-to-back reigning champs. It's just not going to work
Right.
that way. Like they're just too well coached when they can win a game with 23 points in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it's
Yep.
just crazy.
And I kind of felt like you knew it going through the game. It was only going to be a matter of time before the Chiefs woke up and really started doing Chiefs things. And in the fourth quarter, that's what they did. They scored 10, and the only points that the Texans got were from the safety at the very end of the game, which I was kind of happy about because it saved my teaser. But then
Hmm.
my teaser was lost later on in the evening when the that Commanders game got over the number because I was on the under.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
So
I will say we were both really high on Kelsey for this game and Mixon. We both had him for a touchdown. Well, I did. I don't know about
yep,
you. Yeah, we both had both
yep,
of
I
them.
had
We had
Kelsey
Kelsey and
Mixon,
Mixon.
and I
They,
had Kareem Hunt. I had Kareem Hunt.
you did. I did not. I was
I
on
did tell.
Pacheco. I
I
was on
did
the other
tell you.
side. Uh,
I had I actually took Pacheco also at the book. It was an accident that I took him because we'd been talking in the night before stream about touchdown scorers, and so I was like, "Oh, I think I had Pacheco," so I bet him, and then I looked at my bets and I was like, "Oh no, I had Hunt," so I grabbed Hunt as,
okay.
as well. But no, we cashed Kelsey, we cashed Mixon. I don't know how your parlay went. My parlay, Mixon hit his 50, Nico hit the 70, and Kelsey hit the 60. I missed on Mahomes rushing. I took him for 25. He had 23, and then on the final two kneel downs, he lost 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So
Because
he
he
ends
ran
the game
back so far. Yeah.
at 14 rushing yards when he was at 23, and he just needed one. And the stupid thing is, on a couple of those flags, he had to like pick up a couple extra yards and get out of bounds versus sitting there dinking around trying to get flags. And then we would have actually cashed the number, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So miss on the parlay by just Mahomes rushing, which you know I felt good about the bet just simply because I've seen him tuck down and run kind of like Baker was doing a lot this season. But
He
you
just
know,
He just
They
didn't
started
really
a little
need
slow.
to. He didn't really need to in that game.
And
Like the
yeah,
Texans only scored 14 points. The Chiefs were never really in that much of jeopardy of losing the game,
yep,
so it wasn't like Mahomes had to go and make a play. He made the one play to Kelsey, which was awesome. The touchdown pass to Kelsey. I will say we talked about it ad nauseum too, because I think a lot of people were kind of where we were during the season, where it's like Kelsey's kind of fallen off. You know, it's him and Taylor,
yep,
and maybe his head's not in the game. He didn't have a great year,
yep,
but we also kind of like near the end of the season, once we were about to get into the playoffs, like the Chiefs weren't even playing, and we kind of had our breakdown of like the
yep,
first round, and we were talking about it, and we're like, I don't think either of us are worried about Kelsey or Mahomes because their whole entire goal this year was just, hey, we need to win games. Mahomes didn't throw for a ton of touchdowns. He didn't throw for a ton of yards. He had a down year, but it's because they were saving the best for last. Like they're literally trying to get to another Super Bowl. They don't care about the regular
yep,
season, and they still only lost once. Technically, Mahomes only lost once, and that
yep,
was to the Buffalo Bills. So you lose to one of the other great teams in the AFC. That's fine for them to lose that game, but they still won every other game, and Mahomes didn't even have to be Superman. Didn't really have to come in clutch. Like that's just the way that the
right,
season went for them, and they had their eyes set on this. And then we said, yeah, we're not worried about Kelsey, not worried about Mahomes. And we were right because they win the game. Mahomes didn't have a great game, but it wasn't a bad game. It was pretty
yep,
much par for the course that he's been all year. And then you have Kelsey that has his best game of the season. He has over 100
yep,
receiving yards. He has a touchdown. We were both high on him for a touchdown. We said, just watch. It's
yep,
going to happen. And it's a stupid play, too, where Mahomes is getting dragged down by the ankles. We've seen him do this multiple times, whether he's, falling down and it's a sidearm throw
yep.
in the Super Bowl, or if it's, just these stupid plays, and he's getting dragged down to the ground, still throws. Kelsey's wide open, just standing there waiting for it, and literally
Yep.
gets right into his chest, and he's just looking down at the defender that fell down. And he's just like, dude, get up. Like, what are you doing?
There was a play like that years ago in the season Aaron Rodgers had, and he's juking in the pocket, and he gets just killed. But as he gets killed, he throws the ball. Perfect laser down the touchdown. They're playing the Jaguars, and he got murdered. But it's just this perfect ball through like two guys who I think it was Jordy or Randall Cobb, and just perfect catch, touchdown. And it's like, who does that? And it's like, well, the great quarterbacks do that.
Yeah, exactly. So,
And that's what that reminded me of.
yeah, definitely down a couple units on my teaser, or not on my teaser, but on my parlay. Parlay didn't go the way I wanted it to. I had Kelsey at 50 yards, had CJ Stroud at 200. Those both cashed. But then we have
Yep.
Pacheco at 50. I don't even think he got there. He didn't
Nothing.
have a great game at all.
Nope.
And then Worthy for 50 yards. I don't believe he hit that either. So, just one of those games. Like the only person on that team that we really should have been betting on was Kelsey. He was the only receiver, and then maybe Kareem Hunt. But
Well, and to be fair to us, like we both took Kelsey for an anytime touchdown at plus 150, and it was like when he scored it, I went on Twitter and I was like Kelsey plus 150, like
easiest bet of the
it
week.
was always the play. Like
It was right there.
it's the playoffs. He's Travis Kelsey. It doesn't matter how his rate. It's like Steph Curry in the playoffs. It's like Kevin Durant in the playoffs. It's like it doesn't matter how the regular season went. When and I made the correlation all year with the Warriors when they went on their whole run and the Chiefs. It's like maybe they don't show up in the regular season as heavy. When the playoffs are here, we win games. That's what we do. And
Yep.
so I just thought that they would hopefully not win by more than 8.5, and they win by 9.
The Chiefs are kind of
no.
like that team too, where it's like during the regular season you don't really know what's going to happen. You got random guys scoring touchdowns. We had Noah Gray to score a touchdown in that game,
Yeah.
and I mean, it didn't happen. I don't think. No, it
No.
didn't happen, right? No, it didn't.
Nope.
But whatever. We were stoked about it anyway. It was still fun. It was a fun 220,000 plus 222,000 parlay that we made. It was fun to watch and sit there and hope for and all that, but didn't happen. It is what it is. I was still hoping I'd see him out there. Kelsey wasn't out there. I'm like, dude, this could be Noah Gray's touchdown, and then nope, they end up kicking a field goal. So
I will say on my prop parlay that I gave, it ended up losing, but not because of this. I took Kareem Hunt at his line of 32.5. He had 44 rushing yards, so that did cash by itself if you bet that solo, which it was minus 110 bet. So Kareem Hunt is like, it's so funny. Kareem Hunt's back on that team.
yeah, it is. I will say. Oh, what was I gonna say?
So
It seems like for the Chiefs though, they're that one team where it's like the two best guys on the team are gonna show up regardless because the playoffs.
Yep.
So it's Kelsey every week in my opinion. Like next week we're probably taking Kelsey anytime touchdown, and then I mean by now you guys know who they're playing. They're playing against the Bills, so it'll be
Yes.
Bills and Chiefs. It's gonna be a great game. Probably taking Kelsey for another touchdown. Kelsey's now had 13 or 14. I think it's 14 now. He was at 13. 14 consecutive playoff games with 70 plus receiving yards. It's a slam dunk. I only took him for 50. You took him for 60. I mean, I don't think either of us knew that stat when we made those bets.
Did not.
Yeah, and then I saw it the next day, and I'm just like, this is stupid. Like, I'm so happy that we made this bet because he's on pace to keep doing it. So, and
Right.
I don't really see that changing against the Bills, but yeah, I mean, bad game if you're talking parlays, talking touchdown scores, kind of we're even on that because we hit on
Yep.
two and lost on two. So,
Yep.
well, you hit on three, didn't you? Yeah, you did
I
because you had
had
Kelsey, Mixon,
mixed.
and Hunt.
Yep.
Yeah, so you hit on three,
And
lost
and
on one.
Hunt was plus 160, Kelsey plus 150, and Mixon was the favorite, like you had said, but he was still plus 125. So
Yeah,
all three
exactly.
were plus money plays. So unit wise, if you had bet all four touchdown scores, you're still pretty good up, even if you didn't get all four.
Yeah, exactly. So kind of like a bad game. Take it if you will. If you were betting owls, then you're up money because if you're just doing a unit on everything, I guess you'd
Yep.
probably be down a little bit because you hit on three of the touchdown scores, lost on the other the other four bets because you had the other touchdown score, you had the parlay, and then you had the over under in the spread. So you pretty much broke even. I mean, you're getting a little bit more than even money for these, so you are up a little bit.
Yep.
But we can move on to the next game if you want to. I think that's
Yep. I
probably
don't
enough for
unless you got
Chiefs
anything else.
Texans.
Well, let's do what we did in the main one, right? So like going in the off season now for the team that lost, Texans.
Okay,
Uh,
you want me to go first or not? Like, yeah, I
yeah, yeah,
think
yeah,
you
of
already know what
course,
I'm gonna
of course.
say. So,
Go ahead.
yeah, Texans. I mean, hey, good luck. You guys aren't making the playoffs next year. You're not winning the division. It's the Colts season. The Colts are gonna take
I
that
think they're
division.
still the favorites to win that division.
No, for sure. I'm gonna make a bet on the Colts because the Titans or the Jags will be higher than the Colts most likely. The Colts will be like third on that list. So, they
I
probably
bet
won't be.
on
They're gonna be the second because they had a better season than the rest of the division. So, but
Yeah, I bet on the Colts to win this division this time, and they let me down. So I don't think I'm going to be making that
yeah,
foolish
I
decision
definitely will
again.
be again. But yeah,
But your turn.
I think it's two seasons in a row. Good for you Texans. You're not the Chiefs. You're not the Bills. You're not the Lions. Like you're not this dynasty. You had two good
Right.
years. You guys are gonna fall off next year. And the Colts will show up. So I don't know. I see a little bit of regression from the Texans. We saw regression this year from last year too. So they weren't as explosive. They weren't as good. I think another year and it's going to be the same thing. And it'll just be I don't know. We'll see because they could be a different team if their receivers stayed healthy. That was kind of like the big thing for them is like the
Right.
receivers couldn't stay healthy. They got Stephon Diggs. He got hurt for the season. Tank Dell out after he came back from
Hmm.
injury. So they were really down. Like their offense was really beat up. And I am glad that they didn't win, but it's also like I'd rather see the Chiefs in the next round than the Texans anyway. So,
Sure.
good on the Chiefs for taking care of business. Send the Texans home, and Texans, we'll see in about what? I mean, what? They usually have a drought of like 12 years. So, we'll see you in the playoffs in 12 years. Once you guys get a
Oh
new
man.
quarterback. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, they could still make it as a wild card. But, yeah, I don't see the Texans winning again. But you can go ahead. Defense does look good. I'll give the defense a nod of approval here. Defense does look
Yeah, I
good.
think if you're a Texans fan, I think you should feel pretty encouraged. You new coach, whole new culture, new quarterback, but back to back years making the playoffs, you should feel pretty good. Your defense is so much better this year than they were last year, and you had Alshire miss those 3 games, which who knows how those would have gone if you would have,
Well,
not had him
you
out.
can't have him. So sorry, sucks to be you. He illegally hit a quarterback that was already sliding and knocked him the
No, I'm
frick
just
out for the
saying,
rest
like
of the season.
he is like he's like Vontez perfect, right? They say he's a dirty player, but when he's in there, he's an impact player. He makes big plays. So
Yeah,
not having him for a couple games, missing him for those games, that
bad
does
coaching.
hurt your team. But no, I think you should feel encouraged going into it, and it's like they're gonna draft another weapon. Their whole thing with this year was they didn't have enough weapons, so they went and got Diggs. And you would have thought, I think if they have Diggs and Tank Dell in that game, that's a different story. So I don't know. I don't think you can feel too bad. They're still going to be the favorites, I'm sure, to win that. So if you're a Texans fan, you had a good season. You made it, as far as you made it last year. You lost to the Chiefs, and you've mixed it up with the best teams because last year they lost to the Ravens. So you lose to the Ravens last year, who made it to the champs game, and this year you lose to the Chiefs. It's like you're losing to the best team, so that has to be worth something as far as how you feel about your team.
Yeah,
So I
you're
think you should feel pretty good.
you're winning a
And next
home
year we'll
game.
see.
You're winning a home game every year in the playoffs, so it's good. Once you go on the road, it's a different story. We know that about most teams. When if you get a
Sure.
home playoff game, you normally win it. We see upsets all the time, but for the most part, you do win. You move on to the next round. Normally, unless you're a 2 seed or a 3 seed, you're normally on the road, and we usually see those teams lose. So
And CJ's still really young. He's got
it's his second
still
year.
got. That's what I mean. He's still got so much time to grow and learn. And he played great. Like he's a good player.
Hmm.
And if you got a quarterback, you got a chance.
Yeah, which for me, it's like I hate C.J. Stroud, and I always will, just because
Yeah, I know.
I know hate's a strong word,
Division,
but it's like
division.
it's
It's
division
division.
rival.
It's
It's a
division.
division rival.
But you can't pretend that adding Mixon was massive. Last year they didn't
Yeah, they had a decent running back
have Damian
last year.
Pierce, right?
Damian Pierce was the guy, I believe. They had somebody else on that
Yeah,
team
and
too.
Mixon was definitely a big upgrade. And they signed him to a 3. They've got him for 2 more years if they don't upgrade or if they don't, extend him. And he had a phenomenal year. So I think if you're a Texans fan, you're going to be in play to win that division for the next probably
Yeah,
5 years.
and I think Stephon Diggs will re-sign with them and stuff too, because I think they did restructure his contract, but to be a 1 year kind of prove it year, and I think he proved himself enough. He was a big impact in the games that he played, so I think
Right.
that they'll sign him, give him a big contract. He'll be back next year. So if that's the case, then yeah, they have a really good shot. If I'm not being biased, they have a really good
Right.
shot of actually winning the division again. So we'll see. We
Yeah.
might see them in the
And it's
playoffs
like,
again, and see if D'Amico Ryan's his third year can win 2 games, or maybe they'll be the 2 seed or something like that. It might be a bigger year for the Texans next year. I just don't see it
maybe.
happening. Normally, like unless you're adding people, you don't normally get that big of a bump unless you have really
Well,
good
we don't know what they're
coaching
going to
and
do.
yeah,
We don't know what they're going to do in the draft, and we don't know what they're going to do as far as, signing free agents and stuff like that. So they could make some moves to try to bolster it. Maybe they'll add more weapons. You know what I mean? Who
yeah.
knows?
So
But honestly, to me, it feels kind of like for them, you're going up against the team. So you were never expected to win. You were big
big
underdogs. So
underdogs.
it's like there's not really any shame in losing that game. Would you have loved to win? Yes, but you lost to the back-to-back champs.
Yeah, exactly. You can't be too mad about it. Like you
Right.
said, you were supposed to lose that game, and you did.
Right.
So
But you did make it. I mean, you made a fight for a little bit.
yeah, exactly. You had a little bit of a chance there for a while. I mean, but
Right.
that's every team that's played against the Chiefs this year. So,
It's
not
true. It's
yeah.
true.
I mean, that's just the way that the Chiefs win this year. But yeah, we can move on now. You're high on the Texans for next year, and then I am obviously not. But I think there will be a little bit of
I think if
regression.
you're a fan, you shouldn't feel super bad. Like, yeah, you lost in the division round 2 years. You're like, can we just make a champs game? But it's like you have lost to the Ravens, who are incredible, and you lost to the Chiefs, who they just win.
Yep.
So hold your head up a little bit. You guys have a bright future.
Hmm. All right. Next up
Yep.
is
Next up, the best game of the week, I would say.
best game of the
As well,
week. It was
arguably,
okay. It was 80 or sorry 76 points.
it was the highest scoring game of the week,
If you like
and it was
offense,
a
it was
fireworks show
yeah.
to
If you
watch.
like offense and you like scoring, which we both do, then
Yep.
you loved this game. It was 45 to
Yep.
31, ton of points. Commanders get the win in Detroit. Nobody really
Yep.
saw it coming.
Nope.
Um, everybody assumed the Lions were going to destroy everybody that they played against, go right to the Super Bowl
Hmm.
easily. Uh, Commanders showed up. They played great. Jaden Daniels looked so poised in that game. No emotion, like at all, throughout the whole
Yep.
entire game until the game was over. It was in the fourth quarter. You saw him on the sideline. He was smiling, and it was like, oh, dang. And then as soon as the game ends, then you see all the excitement, all of that pouring out, and he's having a good time, dapping everybody up. He's just a great kid. He's so excited to play
Yeah.
football, and he's so good at football, too. He knows when to run. He
Very
knows
good.
he's so accurate. Like I remember at the start of the season, we were talking about it, and we're like, he's the most accurate quarterback in the NFL, which is crazy because
Yep.
he's a rookie, and he kept it up. Like I think his completion percentage on the year is still like 76%. It's almost as high as their third down and fourth down conversion rate this year. It's stupid, but yeah, no. Jaden Daniels played phenomenal. Dropping 45 points on a banged up Lions defense isn't the best. I would say it's
Okay.
not like, oh hey, nice, you destroyed a great team. We'll see next week because they have to go and play up against the Eagles. That's going to be a great challenge for them, and if they can win that game, then yeah, hats off to this team, to the coach, everybody on that team, the defense too, because stopping Saquon is a very big task. I'd say it's harder than stopping Jameer Gibbs by a landslide. We know that, but um, yeah, awesome. Great win for the Lions. Commanders. Jaden Daniels is awesome. And Commanders fans are definitely really excited right now. Lions fans are a little upset, bad taste in their mouth, for sure.
Oh, 1000%. So I'll just say, as far as my take on it, Goff had a bad game. To me, it felt like Goff had the kind of game that we've seen from Darnold those last 2 games of the year, and the kind of game we saw from Justin Herbert, where
Hmm.
you have a great season, but then you cap it off with just a bad performance, and it ends up costing your team. I mean, 3 picks, that's not going to get the job done in a game where it's high scoring and the other team scores every time basically they touch the ball. That's what it felt like with the Commanders. In the live stream, I told you, Matt, and I told the people that watched it, it's like the under 6.5 punts was a prop bet. It was -170. I did take it. It did cash. I think there were 2 punts in the whole. I mean, it was a
There was a
fireworks
couple
show.
more than that, but yeah, no, there was a
Okay, but
low
it was
amount.
still under the 6.5. But it was like that was always way too high of a number. 7 punts in that game. But no, I mean it was fun to watch. Obviously, Washington's crazy good, and I told you after the game ended, I was like, we should have given more respect to the fact that Dan Quinn's been to 3 Super Bowls, 2 with Seattle, 1 with Atlanta. That Bobby Wagner's been to 2 Super Bowls with Seattle. That Zach Ertz has been to a Super Bowl. It's like when you start stacking that together, it's not a new coach, new quarterback on a new team. It's successful people across the NFL that are all on this team, and they just brought in the NFC's version of Lamar Jackson.
Yep, exactly. And like Jaden Daniels is just different. Like it's crazy to
Yep.
watch him play, and especially in a game like that. Like he was so poised in the pocket, he had somebody right in his face, and he's still just a perfect pass. Like he had one pass that was, oh my gosh, it was that deep throw that he had where defender was draped all over him. The guy pretty much had to close his eyes to catch it, and it was right
Oh
in the
yeah,
bread
the
basket. 'Cause
guy
he
got his hand over.
yeah, exactly, and it literally just right in the bread basket. Like literally the
Boom, hit
most
him right,
yeah,
right there.
right in the chest. Like it was perfect. And Tom
Yeah.
Brady was doing that game, and he was like, he's like they're like they always say, and like he's like what I've been told my whole career and stuff like that is there is no defense for the perfect pass. And
Yep,
it's true. Like you could see it right there
that's what
on
it
that
was.
play because that's what it was. It was great defense on that play. Guy had the hand right there, touched him in the face right when the ball got there, which isn't illegal contact or pass interference or anything.
That's
And
legal. There's
yeah,
nothing dirty or anything.
exactly.
Yep.
And the guy still caught it because it was just right there. It was a perfect, beautiful pass. And
Yep.
yeah, Jaden Daniels is just really good, really accurate, really poised. A lot of props to him. Hats off. Whole 9 yards for him in that game.
Hey, and shout out Zach Ertz. He had a big game, dude.
Yeah, like we kind of figured. So the veteran on that team is Zach Ertz, and then on defense it's
Yep.
Bobby Wagner. And
Yep.
those are the guys that you have on that team that they brought in, and they're like, hey, we're gonna build this team up, and we're gonna make sure that we have veterans that have been to big games, played in big games, which Bobby Wagner and Zach Ertz both have. And then you also got Terry McLaurin that's never really been in these big moments, but he's definitely showing up for him because he had a game too.
But they bring poise, like Bobby on the defense. Obviously he's the green dot. He's calling the defense, so he's getting everybody in position. But he stays calm because he's already been in these. Okay, do your job, stay in your lane, do what you've been doing all season long, and we're going to be successful. Like, don't sweat it. And same with I think on the offensive side with Zach Ertz. Like, hey boys, we just got to keep doing what we've been doing because we're here because of what we did. We got here because we play a certain way. So let's just keep playing that way. Let's not get outside of ourselves. Let's just play our game. And that's what they did. McLaurin's a beast, bro. I'm so excited that they made it farther. I love McLaurin.
Terry McScorin.
Terry McScorin, bro. All right, let's hop into our picks from this game. So obviously, you were on the -9.5 of Detroit because you assumed, hey, they're the 1 seed, they're the wagon, they're going to steamroll.
Yep.
They did not, and then we were both on the under. I was on Washington +9.5. I thought it was too many points, but I took them. That cashed. We were both on the under, and that didn't have a chance basically after the second quarter.
Yeah.
I think they
It
were
was
at
never gonna
51.
happen.
I think it was 51 at halftime.
Yeah, exactly. It
Or
was just
52
a
at
stupid
halftime. And
amount
it's
of
like,
points in the first half. It was
yeah,
dumb, and then you had the second half, which didn't really hold up to the first half at all, but it's still
nope.
exciting in the second half.
Yep, exactly. When we jump into the 4-pick parlays and how those went, you had Goff for 3. If you had taken Goff for 3 picks, that would have hit. Which would
Yeah,
have
literally.
$1 million. And then we had Jameson Williams for 75 plus. I'm not sure. Did that hit, Matt?
That's a great question. I don't believe it did. I can try to tap
And
on the game and
then
look at the stats. Just
here,
don't want it to bog down the
let me see.
stream at all.
I got it right here. He had 61, so he was just short
Okay.
on that.
Yeah, I didn't think he hit it. He had a big play. It was like 70 yards or a 60-yard play, but it was rushing.
But it
That
was
was
a
on his
run.
touchdown.
Yep.
It was on his touchdown. Yeah.
Yep. No, he actually only had 1 catch for 19.
Oh, okay.
He had the run for 60, but he had 1 catch for 19. So they didn't even. We thought he would be involved because he had been so involved in all the games. But then you had Zach Ertz for 25 plus. I believe that hit. Let's see. Ertz had 28 yards off 5 catches, and then you had Eckler 50 plus rushing and receiving.
He got that. I'm pretty sure.
He had
Hit it.
41 receiving, and he had 47 rushing. So yeah,
Blew that out of the
he
water
hit that.
for me, but
But the parlay obviously dead. My parlay was also dead at 60 plus, JMO 60 plus, Terry McLaurin 70 plus. That did hit, and Montgomery 40 plus. I think Montgomery hit later on in the game. I think Amon Ra hit as well. It was just oh no, I guess
Mm-mm.
Rushing. Montgomery had 28, so he didn't get there either. But
It was a bad
T
game
Mac
for
hit.
Montgomery.
It was just a bummer of a game. But then we jump into touchdowns, right? You had Diami score, but he had that big catch where his eyes were blocked. You had Laporta at plus 145. He cashed. You had Jameson Williams at plus 110. He cashed. Tim Patrick was the reach play we both had. He did not cash. I also had Jameson Williams. That's a cash. I had McLaurin. That's a cash. And I had Jameer Gibbs minus 235. That cash. So, we did. We hit some bets on the game, but overall it just wasn't. It always sucks when you get the main game picks wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you were on the plus 9.5 though for the Commanders, and that hit.
That
So,
was huge.
so
That was
that
huge.
hit.
Yep.
You did. We were both on the under. That didn't hit. And the only reason we picked the under is because we saw the game the week before, and all those unders pretty much hit. So it's like it was kind of like, okay, yeah, this game has a lot of offense behind it, a lot of firepower. We just didn't think it would be that big of a shootout. And then as soon as the game starts, it's just like touchdown, 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 and it's like, okay, cool. So we were wrong.
Well, the second quarter had 42 points scored in it. It's like when one quarter has almost like you're two
Almost the
thirds to the
over.
over,
Yeah.
right? Just by itself, it's like you're not getting an under. And to be fair, like what there was a pick six, and then there was a fumble that got recovered and taken to the 1 yard or the fucking 10 yard line, whatever it was. So it's like when those things happen, you're not getting it. Like you needed both teams to play normal ball and get stopped kick field goals, and that did not happen.
hmm Yeah, it did not at all. But all in all, it was a very good, very exciting game for betting. It was
It was great. It
it
was
could have
great.
been better. Normally, I've told you guys this before on the videos that we've done. When before the games start, like the morning of, the day before, I'll go in and I'll make a bunch of touchdown scores. We don't talk about all of them because it'd
Yep.
be first of all it'd be too much content to actually like put out. It'd be an hour long video that I could make myself on all the parlays that I'm taking because I do a bunch because I love touchdown scores. You guys know this, but I like to take a unit for each thing. It's like half a unit, but half a unit to a fourth of a unit, and I'll do it on like three guys in the game to get a touchdown. So I'll do that like 6 or 7 times for the game. This was the one game that had 42 points. It had 70 points in the game, and this was the one game I thought I'd already done it. Forgot
Mm-hmm.
to, and I was pissed. Like it was so bad because I'm like I could have made out like mad because I make all these touchdown scores, and
Yep.
all the touchdowns that we had, like I don't even think we had somebody get 2 touchdowns. So it was just different touchdown
Gibbs.
scorers. Gibbs got 2, but other
Yep.
than Gibbs, there was a ton of touchdowns all over the board. It just
Yeah.
sucks. It was a bummer because I feel like I missed out on a bunch of money. Maybe I didn't, but at the same time too, like it's just that I just wanted to segue that like, hey, I was upset about it because I didn't do it. I do it for every game, and yeah, it just
Right.
sucks that I didn't. But like I said, we don't give you guys out those picks just because like on this channel, on this show, we're trying to beat the book. I do that on my own because it's more fun for me. I have more fun being able to watch the game, and it's like, oh, this guy scored a touchdown. Let me check that off my list. Okay, how many more do we need for this parlay? So I do it. It's kind of
Well,
a
and
fun
you're
thing
not
for me.
you're not beating the book if you're taking 17 touchdown scores all the time. And so the picks we try to give out on the channel are the ones that we feel aren't going to lose you guys money,
Yep.
the viewers.
It's the touchdown scores that I've already been through. Al's already been through, and we're like, hey, I've deciphered because I have a list of all these guys that I think will score. But I'm not going to come onto this show and be like, hey, I'm taking all 10 of these guys to score a touchdown in this game because you can't really make money off of that. It's hard
Right.
to make money off of that when you have such a long list. So I parlay them together. So if you get lucky once, it's literally okay, cool. These 3 guys hit. I just won 15 units off of a 1 unit bet. And now that covers all the other bets, plus I won some on the side too. So it's more exciting for me, especially in games that there's a ton of points, like this game that we're talking about right now.
Absolutely. So Matt, to tie a bow on this conversation before we move on to the next game, what would you rate Detroit's season and their outlook for next season?
The season itself was a 10 out of 10. I don't think anybody
Okay.
was mad. They had the number 1 seed. That's what they were going for after last year. They didn't
Two
even have
losses.
they didn't even have to play the last game or the second to last game of the year against the
Yep.
Niners. They could have sat everybody, arrested them. I love the
Yep.
tenacity and just the revenge. They said,
Good
no, no,
word.
no. They said, these guys, they beat us last year. They kicked us out of the playoffs. All of the guys on this team want to go out. They want to play. They want to destroy them. They didn't
Yep.
really. They barely won that game, but they still scored a ton of points. They were able to beat them. Gave them good confidence going into the last week to be able to beat Minnesota. But as we saw in big games, because then we saw Minnesota the week after the first round of the playoffs, Minnesota just fell apart. They scored the same amount of points, 9. So it's
Yep.
it's one of those things where it's like, did the Lions? And I think the Lions defense got a bad. I guess what they got false confidence maybe that they played so well, or I think the media just looked at them like they have the whole year and been like, this defense is so good, and it's like
It had played so well.
I don't know though. Like the opponents that they played weren't these top ranked opponents. Like we saw the Packers,
Actually,
like they played against the
yeah.
Packers and barely won. We saw them play against the Rams, like or no, not the Rams, but it's like they played against the Vikings twice, beat them both times. We saw, Sam Darnold can't perform in big games, so it's like I think that they were just kind of pumped up and buffed up because the offense was so good, and no team's going to be able to score. Like Detroit scored 40 points, like 6 games this year. Like, and then they had like 3 games at 50 plus. So it's like when the
Mhm.
offense scores 50 plus, it's hard for any team in the league, regardless of how good they are, to score 50 points on a defense. Like it's just we talked
Sure.
about this in the last live stream that we did on Friday when we were talking about the Bengals a little bit, and it's like we saw, good teams play against the Bengals, and they'd score a ton of points because the Bengals had a hot trash defense. That's what
Right.
the word that we used, the phrase that we used. So a hot trash defense, you can score a ton of points on. Even a bad team can score a bunch of points on. But when you have a middle of the pack defense, you can score, but you're not scoring 40 points. And if you play against a mediocre offense, your defense is going to look better. The worse offense you play against, your defense will look that much better, even if they're a mid-tier defense. And I think that's what Detroit had because they were banged up, and everybody was saying their defense is still so good. Even I was. I was like, I was caught in the fire too, where I'm like, no, Detroit's defense is great. Even though it
Sure.
wasn't, they were beat up, a lot of people on IR, and I was just like, well, they keep winning, they keep beating people, and Detroit's this power wagon, and it's like their
Hmm.
offense is, and they get a couple takeaways a game, and they win the game, and it's like their offense
Yep.
scores 40 points. It's just hard for any team to score 40 points against a middle of the pack defense, and I think that's what it was. I think it was a little smoke and mirrors on their defense, and yeah, it sucks to see them go so early in their first game. But I
Hmm.
did like when it comes to betting and gambling, I was like, hey, I'm all on the Lions, right? Because I've been
Yep.
screwed out by taking the road teams at like +8 or +6, and I was like, I'm not doing it anymore. We'll just take the Lions straight up. Didn't happen, but in a pool that I had at my job and stuff like that, we do a pool, and I had the Lions and the Chiefs both losing in the first round. I didn't think it'd be against the Texans for the Chiefs, and I also didn't think it'd be against
Sure.
the Commanders. I thought it'd be against the Bucks, but I did have
Right.
both those teams losing just in a fun, hey, just for laughs and goofs and
Hypothetical.
hypothetical, like who they play against and stuff like that. But yeah, no, good shout out to the Commanders. Lion season though, yeah, like I said, 10 out of 10 for them. And then off season, I mean, the only thing that the Lions have to look forward to this offseason is getting Hutchinson back, and hopefully he can stay healthy. They're going to have a whole offseason to be able to hopefully get more pieces for that defense because the offense is stacked. Like, they don't have to pay Laporta yet. He's still a rookie. He's still on his rookie contract. They have Amon Ra. I'm pretty sure he's signed for a couple more years.
Yep.
Gibbs and Montgomery, I don't think they're going anywhere. I'm pretty sure they still have years left on their deals. And then I think Gibbs is still a rookie, isn't he?
Gibbs was a rookie last year.
Yeah, so he's still on his rookie contract. I think Montgomery they still have for at least another year, and then a lot of the pieces on their defense I think they still have too. Like I feel like they're a pretty young team, like a 3-year-old team. So Goff's the
Sure.
oldest person on that team, I'm pretty sure. Like you probably have an O lineman or D lineman in there somewhere that's probably older, but Goff's like the veteran player on the team. I think they're going to be fine. I think they'll add somebody else in the offseason. I think they'll just get better. I'm not sure, depending on how far the Commanders go this year in the offseason, and like they still have moves in the offseason too. We could be talking about the Commanders winning the Super Bowl next year, and Commanders being the
Sure.
favorite number one, or the Eagles. You never know. The Eagles still look great, so we'll see.
But
But
do you expect Detroit to be a powerhouse next year?
I expect Detroit to still win that division next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know about
Uh,
powerhouse. I don't like the offense isn't going to
mhm.
change that much. It depends. If they lose Ben Johnson, we'll have a conversation.
They're losing both coordinators. They're
Yeah.
both gone.
Well, Ben Johnson's not going to
They're
stay.
done.
So
They're done.
we talked about it and we said there's a good chance that Ben Johnson stays if he wins a Super Bowl. I said that. You said if he wins a Super Bowl, he's definitely leaving because then he can get even more money as a head coach. But then
Yeah.
I had the argument. I think I might have brought you over to my side a little bit, where it's like he might stay to try to build a dynasty if they do win a Super Bowl. So
Correct.
we kind of
Correct.
had a
And if you
conversation about that.
win, then you can ask there's no salary cap on coaches, so you can just be like, hey, pay me more money than coach, and I'll stay and just keep doing this, and we could win four.
Yep, exactly. But
You
they
know,
lost.
but I
I
don't
think he's
think they
out the
lost.
door. I
They're
think he's
both
going to go
gone.
and be a coach somewhere else. The DC will go somewhere. I think that DC, I don't know if he's going to be a head coach. I mean, he's going to want to be, but is there going to be enough jobs available? Because if John Gruden's
Yes,
coming
yeah,
back to coaching
the-
too, he's going to be a
I
head coach
haven't
somewhere.
heard that John's coming. I haven't heard John's coming back. That's they've talked. It's been mentioned a little bit in the media,
Yeah.
but I haven't heard a strong thing. What I have heard is that the Aaron Glenn, the DC New York Jets want him because they
Okay.
want to be
Defensive.
defensive and
Yeah.
tough. And then I've heard Ben Johnson to the Raiders
Okay. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
because the Raiders have the number one pick, right?
Yeah.
And they're probably getting Shadur
Do
Sanders.
do they have the number one pick?
I believe so.
Okay. Because it was
I
either
believe so. I
them
could be wrong.
or who else
I'm
was
not.
it?
I'm not an expert. This isn't a draft show, but
Was it the
because
Jags?
The Patriots winning that game don't get the,
Yeah.
and the Titans. I don't think the Titans have the one.
Was it Titans or yeah, it was Titans. It was Titans and then was it
I think the
Panthers?
Titans
No,
have the
Panther
two,
Panthers lost it or the Giants lost it. Giants lost it by winning. That's who it was.
and so did the Patriots because they beat the Bills that final game.
Okay, so yeah, maybe it is the Raiders. Yeah, we'll figure that out when we get to our show, like our season ending recap, all that kind of crap. But yeah, your thoughts on the Lions?
Yeah, I think this was their peak, honestly. And I'm a Packers fan, so I don't expect.
You
I'm never
want
going to
them,
be like
yeah,
a
you
Lions
want them.
fan.
You want this to be
But
their peak.
no, I think this. No, I think this was their peak. I mean, you had Green Bay in a rebuild, quote unquote rebuild, with a young coach. Oh well, not young coach, but a young quarterback, new quarterback coming in, and you had really all rookie receivers. And then this year, in the second year, Love gets hurt to start the season. You have to bring in Malik Willis, and then you have just receivers getting banged up left and right. So for Green Bay, this was your year that they weren't going to be, and we only lost 5 games. And then you have the Vikings, who had a great year with Sam Darnold. If they bring him back, they're going to be super good. If they bring in JJ McCarthy instead, we expect him to be pretty good as well. The Lions are losing both their coordinators. We saw the Eagles, after they lost their coordinators, they were gone. See ya. They made the playoffs, lost in the first round, got bounced, and then this year they're back because they got Kellen Moore, they got Vic Fangio, and now they have coordinators back again. So I expect the Lions to fall off pretty hard, losing both those coordinators, because that's a whole culture. Like, you have the head coach, but losing the guys that talk to those players every day and are in there with their plans and their philosophies, that's going to hurt them more than they know. So even if they draft well and they get these pieces back, I expect the Lions to be the third best team in the NFC North next year.
Okay. All right.
But like you said, 10-10 for the year. They had an
For sure.
incredible season, and this would have been their year. And unfortunately, they missed out on the opportunity to get the Super Bowl. And I don't think they're going to have a big opportunity to get back for 2 or 3 more years.
Okay. So I'm still high on the Lions for next year. You are not high on them at all.
Yeah, I'll be betting. I'll be betting on them to not win that division.
Okay, but can you see them making the playoffs? Like, because you said
Yeah,
that you can see
yeah.
them being
Wild
the
card,
third.
yeah.
You said that you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
see them
Wild
being the
card.
third, but I'm guessing you can have that switched with second place because you think the Packers will win it. So I'm guessing you have
Yep.
you have the Lions second or third, right? Not fourth. It
Yeah,
has to
yeah.
be
It
second
depends
or
on
third.
It depends on if the Vikings keep Darnold, they're going to have the same year they just had.
Yeah.
If they don't keep Darnold, then we'll see what McCarthy looks like.
Okay. Nice. I like that. All right. So all in all, Saturday not a great day at betting. Kind of.
But great games.
Great games. Kind of par for the course for us. I think in total, I think we're still up. For those
On the
with,
day?
with the touchdown scores, I'm not, but I think you are.
I was
because-
not up. I was not up on the day.
Well, I don't think you were because you do your bets a little differently. I'm saying if you threw a unit on everything.
Oh, if I threw you and
Yeah.
everything.
Because you played a little differently because you went.
1,
You-
2, 3.
You had Gibbs,
4.
McLaurin, and Jamison Williams. That's 3. That covers the under and the touchdown and the prop parlay. And then you had 2 losses. You had 3 losses. 2 losses.
Oh yeah, big,
3 losses
so
and 3 wins.
If you did 1 unit on everything,
Yeah, you'd still be up.
then I was up.
Yep, just like on the first game. So you went up, I was down. Cool, let's move on.
Yep.
Saturday, kind of in the books. If you bet Allen's unit each, you're up, and then if you bet mine, you're down. So sorry
You're
for that.
up or you're even. You're up or you're even.
Yeah. Okay. Next game, Eagles, Rams. This morning,
Mm-hmm.
28-22. Eagles take the win. Rams came all the way down the field. Kind of ended very anticlimactically. It was kind of just
Yeah.
like the game's over. It
Tough.
was a 4th down, errant pass by Stafford, just nowhere near Cooper.
The third
Puka
and
Nacua.
2. The 3rd and 2 sack on Stafford killed the drive.
Yeah, but then like Nacua was actually open on that last play. Stafford just didn't get it to him. It was just an out of bounds throw. So, bummer for the Rams. I had the Rams going all the way.
Sure.
I mean, my thoughts would have changed if they had to go and play the Commanders for sure. But
Mhm.
watching the Commanders just beat the Lions by 14. But
Right.
yeah, all in all, good game. It was a great game to watch. Super super fun to watch because of the snow. Still a lot of points in this game. We had 50 points, and it was a snowstorm. Like there was so much snow in that game. Yeah, I was promised snow at the beginning. Like they said, 4 to 6 inches during the game, and then the game starts and there's no snow at all. And then it starts up
Mm-hmm.
second quarter, snow starts coming down. By the second half, it's just dumping. Fourth quarter, it was coming down like nobody's business, and it was just covered. Everything was covered. They were using leaf blowers to try to blow the snow so they could see the lines. It was crazy. It was a great game though. Good on the Eagles for getting the win. We already kind of talked about it at the beginning. Saquon, great game for him, 205 yards. Uh,
Yep.
205 yards rushing, and then yeah, 2 touchdowns. Eagles, they look good. Defense looks good. Stafford still looked good in this game. Just a lot of empty drives, a lot of empty possessions for the Rams.
Yep, exactly. And honestly, the game played out. I think I think it's the way you thought. It's for sure the way I thought. I thought it was going to be really close the whole way, and then at the end of the game, it would end up being the Rams were going to have to go win the game, tie the game, whatever the situation. But that's pretty much exactly how it went. And the Rams had a chance there to really, you know, do something special. And unfortunately, they come just short. They moved down the field so quick, and I was like, "Yo, I think we're getting overtime." I was on the over, you were on the over. That had already cashed, so I didn't need like them to keep points low or anything like that. I was like, go, go, go. Like I really wanted to see the Rams win it, but I did bet on the Eagles earlier on in the season. I had them taking that division. I told you at the beginning of the season, I thought the Eagles were going to be a great team. They are a great team. That defense is super real. The offense is ridiculous, and Saquon's just he's a different piece. So, yeah, no, the Eagles move on. The Rams, I think they had a great season. Let's jump into the bets here, Matt. How do we do on those?
All right, just on Saquon, like you have some players in the league that are game changers. He's a game breaker. That's just what he
Yep.
does. Like at any time, it's a 60-yard touchdown. You can't do anything about it. It happens in a split second. He beats one guy. It's game over. That's a touchdown. So, yeah, shout out to Saquon. Had a great game. Eagles look good. Pass game's not really there in my opinion. Doesn't look very good. It's more so just Saquon eats whenever he wants to. And it's if you can stop Saquon, I do think that you can beat the Eagles. So we'll see. It'll be a tall task for the Commanders next week. But on the bets, pretty good all around. So Rams, I had them at +6. You did as well. We're both on the Rams +6. We thought the Rams had a really good chance to win this game. That pushed, so it's
Yep.
fine. Not bad. It's a push. We'll take our money back. That's fine. We were both on
Yep.
the over. Love that. That cashed as well.
Check that. Yep.
Yep. So we cashed on that. We pushed on the other one. When it comes to touchdown scores, none of mine hit. None of mine
Yeah,
hit
I
good.
expected Cooper Cup to get in the end zone. We both expected Kyron to get in the end zone. That didn't happen. I took Saquon. You don't take -170s or -150s. I took Saquon at -170. That cashed. I also had Dallas Goddard at +280. He didn't get in the end zone. I thought he had a chance too because they started to really deal into him in the third quarter. And I was
Yep.
like, okay, now Goddard goes. Now he goes. And he had a couple plays where it was like, oh, this could be the rumble. And then he gets stopped. And so that was unfortunate. You had Davis Allen, and there was a
Yep.
touchdown score. The touchdown throw to Parkinson it was mid fourth or late third. And he scores the touchdown. I was like, yo, was this the Davis Allen guy?
No, dude.
Did he
I
get in there?
I literally jumped up
Oh,
and down. He was plus 1,200 or 1,100.
uh-huh.
It was plus 1,100. It was stupid.
Yep.
11 units back on one play. It was insane. I saw the touchdown. I said, "This is it. This is him." And then it literally turns around. I'm like, "Nah, this guy's a freaking disease." And I'm not wrong because he is. I've been saying it all year. Every time that we talk about Parkinson, I'm gonna keep doing it. I talked about it back when he was on Seattle. So, yeah. So
Sure.
bad touchdown scores for me. Good ones for you. I guess not really. You had Saquon and yeah, that was it. So, yeah, sucks.
Saquon, that's it. Yep.
Sucks for the touchdown scores. We jump into the 4-pick parlay for mine. I had Stafford over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Cooper Kupp 50 yards. Cooper Kupp over 4.5 receptions, and then also Saquon Barkley over 1.5 receptions. All those hit. Cashed it in. Paid out plus 850. Saquon had 2 catches in. I want to say it was right after the
Second
start of the
quarter.
second quarter. Yeah, second quarter started. They did a little screenplay to him. I was like, hey, there it is. He got it. Let's go. In their own end zone too, and he just throws it to Saquon. It was perfect. It was great. I was jumping up and down. I was like, sweet. We just need a Cooper
You
Kupp.
texted me. You texted me. You were like, hey,
Yep.
you're like the easiest pick of the day.
Easiest
Cooper,
pick of the
no,
day.
Saquon Barkley, 2 catches.
And
Easiest pick of the
and
day.
like we kind of figured, so the Rams defense actually played really well against Saquon.
Yeah, they did.
Like they
Well,
no
well,
they played really good. Okay, he had 205 rushing yards, right? He
yeah,
had two 60-plus yard touchdowns. So there's 120 of
120 yards
those.
off 2
Take
plays.
those 2 plays away and act like they never
Yep.
happened. He only had 80 yards rushing against Saquon. That's pretty good for a defense. So good on the Rams. They looked good all day, and I kind of figured that they would because we saw them last week play really well. So I was like, hey, they're going to be flying around. Verse will be all over him. And that's kind of how it was. And during the start of the game, like early on in the game, it was, hey, we got to get other ways to win because Saquon's kind of getting stuffed here. So they were trying other things. They were throwing it. And that's how I saw the game going. Saquon got his 2 catches pretty easily. We had a comment on our shorts that we came out with because we make shorts out of all the 4 picks and stuff like that. It was on yours, Al. I believe you also had Cooper Kupp. You could jump
I
into
had
your
Cooper
4 pick.
Cup 50. I had Cooper Cup the 50 yards just like you did. I had Stafford 2 touchdowns. Just Stafford 2 touchdowns plus money felt like the easiest bet to me. I had Saquon 150 plus rushing and receiving. Obviously, you said he had 200 plus just rushing, so he cleared that. And then I had Kyron Williams for 50 plus rushing. He broke 100 yards rushing in this game as well. He had a great game. So mine hit and yours hit, which is pretty awesome. But anyway, back to what you were saying on the shorts that we made because we make shorts for the 4 picks. We got a couple. We got a couple comments on one.
Yeah, so the first comment, if my memory does serve me right, the first comment was, oh yeah, I don't think the Rams will play very good because it's going to be snowing, and I don't think an LA team will play that good on the road in the cold and in the snow. And I will say, they played pretty good. They had a chance to win at the end of the game. They looked good on that whole entire drive until Stafford got sacked. It's a rookie center. It kind of makes sense. But Rams looked good in this game. And yeah, I mean, they score a touchdown on that drive, they win the game. They don't just take the lead, they win the game. So,
Yep.
yeah, it was closer than I think a lot of people thought it was going to be, especially in a snowy game like that. But you got to remember, Stafford's not used to that. He's not, what? He's used to playing over there in Philly from his days in Detroit. So, he had a little bit of experience there in the cold weather and stuff like that. It's been a while, but you still have to play road games in the winter anyway in the NFL. So good for Stafford, good for them. We both hit our 4 picks. I will say, I don't know how many people actually bet these things, but if you guys did bet and you guys bet earlier this morning before the game started, you guys would have noticed Cooper Kupp's line actually went down, and it went down to because I got him here on the bets that we made. It was over 4.5 catches, so he had to get 5 receptions. If you looked at it this morning, that had dropped to over 3.5. So you needed one less reception. So what I did this morning, I went out and I made another bet with the new updated line because I was like, there's no point not to because I already have one. So what? I get the same odds and it's one less catch. So I'll do that.
Yep.
They both hit on the last drive of the game, which is just stupid because it shouldn't have. Cooper Kupp had 2 catches on the last drive. That was awesome. We cashed both of them. So shout out to me. Shout out to you. Great 4 picks by both of us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I will say, Saquon 150. You're sitting here saying that the Rams did a good job. Bob. I don't think they did. And when he broke that 60-yarder, I was telling the people that were in the room with me, I was like, the Packers defense actually bottled up Saquon. He was at 90 yards, 98 yards, whatever it was, before the final drive when the game was already over. He ripped the 20 yards. He gets to 115 or whatever it was on the game. But Saquon had over 100 yards at halftime.
Wait, I have a question for you. So
Go
the
ahead.
Packers bottlenecked Saquon by allowing him to have 90 yards and no big runs.
Correct.
But the Rams didn't bottle him up when he only had 90 yards and 2 big runs. That's what I'm saying.
He had
No.
120. He had 120.
What are you talking about? No, he didn't. No.
What I'm saying is the big plays weren't there against the Packers.
No, I understand that, but you're saying that they bottlenecked him the whole game.
That's the difference.
Okay, yes, but I'm just saying one bad play. Like you guys kept him to 80 yards, and I just said the Rams keeping him to 80 yards besides those 2 big plays. Them keeping him to 80 yards is a good thing, and that's a good day and a good job on the defense against Saquon. And you're saying that the Packers did a good job because they held him to 80 before his long run. Before his long run, and that could have been another 80. So
it wasn't because the game was over. The only reason he got the big run.
Well, yeah, you can debate that all you want to, but at the same time, you're saying 80 yards against him is a good day. I'm saying that they had 80 yards, and then he had 2 big runs. So I think that's still a good day from the Rams. I don't think it's something to look at and be like, oh, he had 205. It's like, look at, like, he broke off 2 good ones, good for him, good for this O-line. But I wouldn't say it's a bad day for the defense. Like, yeah, you can't allow those plays, but still, take those 2 plays out, and guess what? It's the same stat line that he had against the Packers. That's all I'm saying.
And what I'm saying is also they allowed Jalen Hurts to go run a 45-yard touchdown,
Yeah, but
and
that
the
was
Packers
that
didn't
was
do that.
start of the game.
But then to be fair, the Rams were not the sixth or seventh rated pass defense like the Packers were, so
They
they were
played him
expected to do
good
that.
for
The Rams
being
were not.
yeah, for being what they were on defense, which
No
was
one
not a top
expected
five,
the Rams
not
to play
top
that good
10.
a defense against Saquon and against that run.
Thank
They
you. That's
thought,
all I
oh,
wanted. That's all I wanted.
these boys are going to push him around. But what I was saying is, in the moment when Saquon ripped the big one, I said, "See, this is what the Packers didn't let this guy do
Yes,
last week."
that's true.
That's all I was trying to say.
That's true. No, I
And that's
I
just the difference. There are levels. Now, I think next year this Rams defense will be a top 10 run defense, and I think they'll be a top 10 defense across the board. Like they're young, they're hungry, and they played so. I mean, when you get that close to like a champs game in a lot of those dudes' first year,
yeah, like
you're
Jared
gonna come
Verse.
back.
Yeah, that other defender Fisk
He was
or whatever.
versus a
Dude,
beast.
they lost Fisk or whatever, is it Fisk? I think. I
Yep,
think it's
yep.
Fisk. Yeah, they lost him in the first
Just
quarter. Like
yep.
it sucks. Like, and he was a big playmaker on that defense too.
Mm-hmm.
So sucks for them. I mean, yeah, like you said, I'm high on the Rams next year. We'll
So high on
obviously
them. I'll be
see.
taking them again.
We'll
Take that
see.
division.
I'm not sure what they're gonna do with Cooper Cup because they could get rid of him. I don't know because they have
I
Puka
think he
now, and
does
if they
more than you. I think he does more than what shows up on the stat sheet.
for sure because he's a great blocker. He's a great blocker. One of the best receiving
Well,
blockers.
I think you got people are like, oh, if you don't do a lot on the field, but it's like there's also what you bring to the locker room, what you bring to meetings, what you bring to just like the way you handle your business brings people up to your level.
hmm So all in all in the
Yeah.
game, if we're talking units, what's your parlay payout?
Plus 1,300.
Okay, so you
Pretty
got
nice.
13 units on that one. So 13
Got the game
units.
right. Got a push on the spread. When I got to the book and bet it, it was +7. But just for the sake of keeping things straight up with people that bet when we put the videos out, it was at +6. So you would have pushed on that. We hit the over, so that's another unit. And then I had Saquon, which you would have only gotten back half a unit because he's -170.
Yeah.
So not huge there. But yeah, still a 14 unit day off just that game.
Yep, exactly. So lost a little
Well,
bit
I
on the
guess not
touchdown
14.
scores.
It would have
yeah.
been, yeah, it would have been like 10. It's a 10 unit gainer.
And then for me, it's like a 7 or 6, just because my parlay didn't pay out as much, and none of my touchdown scores hit. So, yeah,
Yeah.
bad day, but still a good day. The parlays hit. Like I said, I'm up a bunch because I went back and made the new updated line.
The second you doubled up.
Yeah, I doubled up. So if you guys did, I mean, you guys hit regardless. If you guys bet it, before or after. So, yeah, good game there. Move on to the next one if you want to. I guess you can tell me. I think you already kind of did. You're high on the Rams next year.
High on the Rams. I'm not going to make my picks now. We'll do that before the season starts next season.
But you wanted to with the
I'll-
Lions.
I'm 98.5%. Well, I'm telling you, the Lions are not winning the division. I think the Rams have just as good of an opportunity to win their division next season as they did this season. I think they're actually better now because the team has more experience and they were able to go win a playoff game and take arguably the most talented team in the whole league to the very end of the game in bad conditions. Like if that game's in LA, you think it's like
Yeah, no.
I think the Rams are better off in that game. I think the Eagles would. The Eagles had the advantage with the weather,
Yep.
the weather being the way it was, and having Saquon doing Saquon things. I think if that's in a neutral field, if that's in Detroit indoors, I think that's completely different.
Who wins that division next year? Okay, I'll ask
That's
you right
what
now.
I think. The Rams.
Rams, not the Niners.
Like I said, we'll see what the Niners do. If McCaffrey comes back full, and they got Debo healthy, Ayuk healthy, Kittle back is like he's always just a beast. But they're going to be tough to stop. But I trust McVay. I trust Stafford, Cooper Cup. Puka's not going anywhere. Kyron, that defense is going to get better. I think the Rams could have a nice little 5-year run here where they're really good.
They might be the number 1 seed next year.
You know, McVay doesn't turn 45 until 2030.
Yeah, no, dude, he's still super young. I remember when he first
Yeah,
started coaching,
so-
he was like 28 and youngest
He was
coach ever.
30. He was 30.
Yeah, whatever. He was freaking good-looking young kid too. I'm gonna be that old here soon. You are that old, so Lord.
30? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to go coach a team next year, I think.
Yeah, okay, yeah, definitely, yeah, Little League, for sure. All right, moving on to the next game, last game of the week. I'd say the most hyped game of the week for sure.
1,000%.
The MVP game. You got Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Ravens at Bills. Ravens favorites on the road. How
Yep.
many times did I tell you it's disrespectful? I'm gonna say it again. It's disrespectful to have the Ravens a 1 point favorite on the road in Buffalo. I said it ad nauseum. At like that ticked me off. It pissed me off, and that's mainly why I bet the Bills in this game is because I was like, this is just stupid. Like I don't know what the
Sure.
book's trying to do, and you said it felt like a trap. You said you're still going with the Bills, and I'm
Yep.
glad you did. I'm guessing you're glad that you did too. Bills win this game by 2 points. It was close. It would have been tied up, but I will say the one thing. Okay, one thing in this game that kind of ticked me off. Okay, if you guys didn't watch the game, I mean, obviously you guys did if you guys were watching the channel. So end of the game, Ravens are going down the field, scored the touchdown way too early.
Mm.
They scored it too early. You could get that 2 point conversion, you still lose the game. Bill,
So our sister.
yep,
She's a huge Bills fan.
yep,
She's sitting there freaking when they scored that touchdown. I'm
yeah.
like, yo,
Why?
they still have to get. I said they still got to get the 2 points. I said, and there's still a minute and a half in this game. Like Josh is going to get the ball, and they're going to get at least a field goal. I was not worried about that.
Yeah, no, neither
Like
was I.
in
And
the times the Bills have lost the games at the late game, it's not because Josh couldn't go score. It's because Josh left too much time for the other quarterback named Patrick
mhm,
Mahomes to go score and win the
yep, and
game,
that's
or
the
a Joe Burrow to go win the game.
yep, and that's the issue that I had with them scoring that touchdown so fast. There's a minute 40 seconds left. You score a touchdown, you get a 2 point conversion. Guess what? Bills have a minute and 40 seconds. They've been playing great, and they have two timeouts.
Yeah, and that's the thing though. I
Stupid.
think but that's Harbaugh has not been in. He's been in a ton of playoff games, but he has not been in as many recent playoff games.
I
And
mean, he was
the
last year.
Bills, but before that, when was the last time the Ravens went deep in the playoffs?
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
true
mean?
because they lost.
Because Lamar was hurt, and then they
It
didn't
was
make
also just
so,
Lamar would choke the first game of the playoffs, the first 2 years that they
sure.
made it.
And so it's like when you're the Bills, you're a team that knows, okay, we need a bleed clock here, bleed clock, bleed clock, bleed clock, because the less we know it's coming down to how much time do they have. But the Ravens, they haven't been in those situations as much as of recent that they haven't needed that. Like they've been the team that goes down and scores at the end of the game and then it's over.
Yeah. So, good win though by the Bills. Love the Bills.
Great win,
Can't
great
wait to see
game.
that rematch. We needed it. We wanted it. We got Chiefs Bills next week. It's gonna be awesome. Bills were the only team to actually beat the Chiefs in the regular season this year. Say what you want to about Josh Allen's history against Mahomes in the playoffs. Obviously, Mahomes is undefeated against him, but at the same time too, different Josh Allen in my opinion. Like,
This year.
yeah, this year's been a lot different. Doesn't have Stephon Diggs, and he's been playing the best football of his career. So, gonna be a great matchup there. I don't know if the Chiefs have enough. We'll talk about that when we get to that game and our, other videos that we do when we actually do the game breakdown. But, what'd you like here? What'd you see? Like, you can go into it, go into your bets too if you
Yeah,
want.
yeah. I'll go ahead and do that. So like, I was always gonna take the home team. Like this game, the book had it as a pick 'em basically, with it being at the -1.5, +1.5 all week long. Um, if the Ravens had been the plus, I probably would have taken the Ravens. I liked both teams. I thought it was a pretty competitive matchup. I thought it was going to come down to the very end, and it was a 2 point game and when it was all said and done. So, luckily, we had the Bills the +1.5, and like you said, kind of disrespectful for the home team. It should never have been the home team.
No, it should not be. And
Like
I was
even
saying
even Bills -1.5, they still cover them.
Bills minus one
But
and a half
it's
was the
because
correct
the
line
Bills
for
have been
this game.
so good. The Bills have been so good, but the Ravens had just dominated for 8 straight weeks or whatever it was without even losing. And so I think that's why they made the Ravens the favorite. And the Ravens had beat them earlier on. So
Yeah.
we were both on the +1.5. That cash. We were both on the under. That did not cash by a half freaking point, dude.
Mm-hmm. It's tragic.
51.5. Stay under that. They get to 52. And I was just,
We're so good.
um,
We're so close. I will say, like a couple of the games we get wrong, right? But I'd
yeah,
say we're pretty on it when it comes to like actually beating the book, which obviously that's the name of the channel. That's what we're trying to do here. We've had a lot of games like this, especially like I mean teasers are a different story, but
yes.
just talking about the teasers all year, we've been like 1 point, half a point, like
Right there
on
on
so
so
many
many.
teasers where it's like that's 6 picks that we have to get right, and we've lost a ton of teasers this year just
Up
by
1 point.
half a point, 1 point. Yeah, so definitely shout out to us. Shout out to the book for having such good lines. Because I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
book they will always try to beat you. That's their job. Their job is to beat
Yep.
you. Our job is to beat them. So, yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to us. We're right there. We're sniffing it. We'll get them back next year for sure on all those teasers. We'll be
Yep.
hitting a lot more next year. But yeah, good on the book and also good on us. Like great line by the book. They couldn't have picked a better line. When they get it that way, they're probably 50-50 too. So they're probably making out a little with a little bit, and we're right there, just like, hey, we almost got you.
Exactly. So anyway, so my teaser didn't, or my parlay didn't hit. I only hit likely on it. And then for touchdown scores, I had Derrick Henry. He cashed. It took a while for him to cash, but he cashed. I had Derrick Henry for 2 touchdowns that didn't cash. I had Mark Andrews at plus 170. He didn't cash. And then I had Dalton Kincaid at plus 265, and he also did not cash. It didn't help that Josh Allen had two of the Bills. They had 4 touchdowns, I think. He
Yeah,
had two of them. And then, yeah, I mean,
Ray
the
Davis,
Ravens.
Ray Davis.
Yeah, Ray
For
Davis,
some
though.
reason, from the 3 yard line or whatever, they put Ray Davis in after James Cook is in there, and they take James Cook out, put Ray Davis in, and he scores a touchdown. Makes no sense to me. Should have been James Cook. We would have
Right.
made some money off of that. But yeah, for my touchdown scores, I had James Cook, Josh Allen, Mark Andrews, and then I had Buffalo defense as my reach, just because I knew it was going to be cold. I know that Lamar's been known to choke a little bit in the playoffs, not as much last year as it had been, but still like one
True.
bad play. And I will say we were 18, 19 yards away from a Buffalo Bills defensive touchdown.
Oh, I thought Von Miller had it, dude.
Oh, he was,
Justice Smith
dude. He ran out of
tracked him
steam, and I'm
down.
like, he's not going fast enough. And no, he
Yep.
wasn't. But oh my gosh, great fumble by Lamar, great pickup by Miller, and he's going. And I'm sitting there like, dude,
Yep.
this thing's about to cash. My reach pick is 6 units for free, and yeah, it just screws me out of it. So that sucked. We hit on Josh Allen. That was the only one. The book tried to get me to take Josh Allen for another one after his second one. They tried to get me with a little
Oh,
plus 400. They boosted it, gave me a plus 400 on Josh. I bet on BetMGM, if anybody's wondering. Or at
sure.
least for this game, I was. They gave me an offer, and they're like, "Hey, we're doing a Lions boost
Will
for
he
Josh
get a
Allen
third
to
touchdown? Yeah.
score in the second half. Let's get a rushing touchdown in the second half." And I was like, I almost went and bet it because I was like, it could happen again. But I'd already taken Ray Davis. I went on there and did Ray Davis for a second touchdown. That was at plus 600. And I was like, I got to take those odds. It's a free reach pick there. He already scored one. James Cook just doesn't play in the red zone apparently anymore. Leads the league in touchdowns or tied the league in touchdowns. And he's not even getting a touchdown in the biggest game of the year. So, yeah, whatever. Is what it is. Weird game. Weird script. I hated the fact that Josh Allen's just like, yeah, I'll Superman it every time. It bagged that.
Hmm.
Yeah, it feels like Lamar Jackson of old. But still, yeah, great game, though. Yeah, my 4 pick also didn't hit. Lamar Jackson 50 plus, that didn't hit. Josh Allen over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I don't even think he had one. So yeah, put that one in the books. And then James Cook 100 plus rushing and receiving didn't happen because he just wasn't doing anything. Like he was one play of like a 10-yard gain, and then he's out of the game, subbing himself
Yeah.
out. So I don't know what that whole game plan was. Then Derrick Henry 50 plus rushing yards. I was able to throw that in because I had the James Cook 100 R&R, and the Derrick Henry did hit. I didn't bet that one straight up just because I was like, it was minus 2,500. So I looked it up. Well, I didn't look it up, but I put in some numbers, okay, to find out how much that would actually pay. I wanted to know if you knew that, Al. If
How much what would pay?
how much a plus minus 2,500 would pay. For the sake of the
Oh,
argument, let's just say $100. Off $100, what would that pay? Minus
well,
2,500.
$4.
Yep. And I was like, yeah, so that's why we didn't do it. We didn't throw a unit on it. We're just like, it's not worth the payout. So normally,
No,
like
not
for
worth
all
it.
these other games, I did bet all these like singly, like you've been doing all year. I decided, hey, I'm gonna follow in suit. I'll do it too.
Oh, and then of course it's a game where none of the legs.
None of the
Yeah.
legs hit. Like I did it for the
Yeah.
last game though too. Rams Eagles did it for that one, so that was cool.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Double cash out on that one. So
So you see how that is profitable.
well, yeah, because I was looking at it, and also same with my touchdown scores. I used to just take my touchdown scores and throw them all into a parlay and hope that they'd hit. So
Hmm.
now you kind of understand, and like for me, like we've talked about this before too, where it's like I'm kind of like a freshman better, it's not my first year betting, but it's my first year betting super seriously with like picks and stuff like that, and it's like had a great season, but
Yep.
as the year's been going on, I've been shifting the way I'm betting, and it's been made me more profitable too. And you can just see like when you do hit a 4 pick parlay like that, it pays out a ton. We already know this. It's 8 to 10 to 12 to 14 units depending on which one you hit. But if you're just taking them straight up too, it's like you're still getting a unit back for each of those hits. Same with like the touchdown
Hmm.
scores too. So it's nice when you can be like, okay, cool, I put a unit on this and this. One hit, one didn't, but guess what? I won a unit and a half on the other one, so now that pays for that, and I still have a little tip on top. Yeah, so definitely understand the profitability in that, and we've been profitable on the year. So shout out to you for opening my eyes to that. But yeah, not a great game for bets at all, but it is what it is.
No, it was a great game, but like you said, not as profitable as some of the other on the night or on the weekend had.
Yep, exactly. Now, we did do a live stream on Friday, like we've been talking about. We talked about it a couple times, mentioned it. Not a ton of people go back and watch the live streams. I get it. I don't really watch past live streams on YouTube. So if you guys didn't
Sure.
watch it, that's fine. I just wanted to go over one bet. I don't know if you hit on any of yours, Al, but I just want to talk about a couple of the ones that we made. We had our reach one that
Yeah,
everybody watched.
yeah.
It's our highest viewed video. I wasn't clickbait at all, but I doctored up the
Thumbnail.
thumbnail for it. Okay, it was a stupid bet that we made. We also made yours too. We should have turned that one into a short too, but we didn't, or into its own video. We didn't for your little prop one that you made. That was just a really weird one. But that one
It
also
didn't
paid out.
hit, so it's
Yeah,
no
but it was
problem.
still plus 200 and something thousand. So that would have been
When I got to
cool.
the book, it was plus 300,000.
That's crazy. But the one that we made, it was a big reach. That one got a lot of views. So if you bet that one, sorry, it was dead the first game. I
Yep.
really thought it had a
Yep.
chance. But so we made a bunch of parlays. That's what I do. I already told you guys that. So on that stream, we decided to make a couple,
Yep.
throw them out to the public, see what you guys did with it. We were close, then we weren't.
Yep.
So kind
Yep.
of sucks, but it is what it is. We had two regular touchdowns. We had that reach one, and then we also had just the favorites. I was like, hey, let's just do one with one pick from each game.
Smart.
Yep, and we just had all the favorites. That one did cash because
Yes,
the
it
favorites,
did.
all the favorites showed up. We had Joe Mixon, we had Jameer Gibbs, we had Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry. It was plus 900 or what? Yeah, 980.
550. Mine was. I have it written down as plus 550.
Yeah, it was plus 550. So good bet all in all. It was pretty much like a teaser. That's what we kind of referred it as. It was pretty much a 6-point teaser that we've been doing all year. Great odds on it, and it hit too. So there you go. You got 6 units off of that one. The others were close until they weren't, and it was the Rams game
Yep.
that screwed us. And then we had one
No
with
AJ
Mark
Brown.
Andrews.
No Cooper Cup.
Yeah, the other ones would have died too because it was James Cook and Mark Andrews, and they didn't score.
Yep.
So, yeah, but
Yep.
I don't know if any of your other ones. I know that you mentioned the other one from the what game was it that hit?
Yeah. So here's the deal, right? So if you would have taken, my prop parlay, I literally, I think I lost on both the last two. I didn't go back and double check Josh and Lamar, but I had Josh and Lamar for 6 touchdowns. Remember for the
Yep.
prop, I don't think that hit just simply because Ray Davis stole one, and then Derrick Henry got the one, and it wasn't
Yeah.
a throw. So I think they got to like 4 or 5 touchdowns, but they didn't get the 6. Puka 100 receiving yards. He got to 97. So we just lose that. But Eckler hit the 25, 32.5. On my touchdown scores, DeAndre Hopkins never got in the end zone. Laporta did, AJ Brown didn't, and then Likely did. So I went 50% on that, which 50% doesn't win a parlay. And then our teasers both lost because of the Lions
Yep.
not covering. Bills covered, Rams covered, Chiefs covered. Lions did not cover because they lost, and we had a -2.5. And then the Chiefs over covered for me in the 6 pick that I had, but the Lions under did not, so it's dead. On my prop bets that I gave out, just like kind of for all the games, Texans race to 10, dead. Texans race to 5, dead. They score a field goal, they get the ball. I'm like, if they score a touchdown, they'll be at 10. They win that race. Dead, didn't get there. Chiefs get to 6 before the Texans get to 3, or before the Texans scored again. Derrick Henry, James Cook, 5 plus 400. Cash that motherfricker. That thing hit. That's really cool. The other one that hit was I had the other one from today, Saquon Barkley and Kyron Williams, 5 plus rushing yards in every quarter. That was minus money. That one cashed. No big deal. And then I gave you guys, I didn't actually take it because I forgot to take it when I read the book and make the bet, but the Lamar Jackson race to 20 rushing yards. Cash that because that hit again because Derrick Henry started the game so slow and Lamar was picking up 8, 10, 20. And then he ends the game with 39, so he doesn't get to the 40 for us. But so that one cashed too, and I believe that was another plus 320 when I was looking at it. So that's pretty sweet.
Yep. So all in all, good week of betting for both of us. The parlays definitely help.
It was a profitable week. We wish we would have hit more. We missed by a little bit on a couple things, like the teasers missed because games don't go the way you think.
Yep, exactly. The two 4 picks. Well, I guess the 3 that we hit because we both hit the one for the Lions Rams
Yep.
or for the Rams Eagles.
Yep.
Those both kind of cover a lot of the bets that we already placed, and then the other one that we had, the locks or the favorites, that one cash. So that's an extra 5-6 units there.
550.
Yeah.
Yep.
So all in all, good week.
Good week.
Yeah, good week of betting, and then we'll do it again next week. But I think that's all we got
Well,
for now.
let's do just real quick. Let's take a little peek ahead at the line for the two champs games.
All right, so Commanders Eagles. Commanders are
Yep.
going to the Eagles. I think the Commanders can win this game if Jaden Daniels plays the same way. The defense is for real. Looked good against the Lions. And then you got the Eagles. It depends on their defense.
What would you have? Have you looked at the line yet?
No.
Okay, what do you think the line is?
Lord, the way that the Commanders played it, the line can't be too high. So I'm gonna say Eagles minus 3.5.
Okay, so I was like, I've already looked at it,
Yeah.
but prior to looking at it, I would have said because they played each other twice.
You would have said what?
3.
Okay.
3 points. 3 points would have been my guess. So you're 3.5. The line right now on DraftKings is 4.5. Straight
Okay.
money, minus 110.
Okay.
Over under for this game. What do you think?
Over under for this game. It's gonna be in Philly. It's probably gonna be another weathered game. I don't know if it'll be snowing, but it might be raining. We'll see. It's gonna be cold though. So over under. Commanders just dropped 45. Give me like 48.5.
Ding, 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 brother.
On it?
On it.
On it. Hey, I thought about it too. I was like, the Commanders just scored a lot of points, but it's going to be a better defense. It's going to be weather.
Yeah.
It's going to be colder. It's not going to be in a dome, so they're not going to score as much. Eagles' defense has been good. Eagles' offense hasn't been that explosive, so yeah, give me a little mix of it, like, 27-21.
But also, it does get cold in DC, so it's not like you got some dome team coming down around.
No, but
You
they're
got
not.
a team that
But they're just not going to drop
that
45.
knows how to play in weather.
I don't
I
think
know,
they'll score
absolutely
45.
not, absolutely
Yeah.
not, absolutely not. Okay, so initial thoughts right out the gate on this game. I'm not telling you to make a pick, but just like, what are your thoughts? How do you see this game kind of going?
I think the Commanders take the lead.
You can change your mind later.
Yeah, no, I
but,
think
like,
Commanders take the lead early. Eagles kind of crawl back.
So would you take the 4.5 for the Commanders, or would you?
I think I would, yeah.
Okay.
Because
and then
at
the
3.5,
over-under, would you be leaning?
yeah.
Your early lean, is that over or under?
The lean is the over because I trust Jaden
Okay.
Daniels to score points, and
I'm with
I
you.
know that the
my
Eagles
lean's-
can score too.
My lean's the over, and I have to take the Commanders simply because I think we overlooked Dan Quinn, Bobby Wagner, and Zach Ertz's experience, and I don't think.
And
I think
Jaden
that
Daniels'
matters.
poise.
And third time playing, man, and they each split.
Yep.
Now, one thing is, and we'll talk about it. We'll break the whole thing down. But Jalen Hurts also got concussed at the beginning of that game.
Yeah.
And then Kenny Pickett played the rest of it. So was it really the full strength Eagles?
No.
Or did the Commanders get lucky they were able to win that?
But we'll see.
Because
Commanders
Jalen
look
got
really good now, so we'll see.
They-
It's gonna be
but they
two
do look
improved
good
teams.
now.
So yeah, it'll
Yeah.
be a good game. All right, Bills Chiefs.
Yes. What do you think the spread is for this one?
All right, let's go. Bills at Chiefs. Frick, dude. The Chiefs have
Yep.
to be favored in this game, but I can see the Bills being a road favorite. Don't think they're going to do that. I think they're still going to have the Chiefs as the favorite. It's going to be a
Okay.
stupid line. I think I'm going to hate it. I'm going to go with my gut here, and I'm going to say Chiefs minus 1.5.
Ding, 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 brother.
Dude, I really wish that I was looking at the
I
line
would've
so I
thought-
could say that, but no. See, did you understand where the mind was coming from?
No,
I thought the line was going to be like Chiefs minus 3.5 because they always beat the Bills, or minus
thought
2.5. Yeah. But no,
I thought 3 was just home field advantage.
yeah.
And
So
you have the back-to-back champs, and you've got, a team that always beats Josh.
yeah, exactly.
in the
So
playoffs.
that's why I was like, hey, I'm gonna go with the one that I think, and I think it
Sure.
should be minus 1.5 Chiefs because they're in Arrowhead. It's the Chiefs still.
Yep.
They one game away from a three-peat to the Super Bowl and see if they can win it.
3 straight appearances in Super
Yeah.
Bowls, which is nuts.
And they've won 2 of
over
them.
under. What's your lean there? What's
Over
your
under
guess
here.
at the
See, it
line
has
there?
to be high. Like, there's no way that they think that the Chiefs defense is actually going to stop the Bills. So,
Okay.
give me. Oh, frick. See, I don't want to go too high, though. But I think I have to. I'm going to go 51.
That's really high.
Yeah. Because
It's not correct.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be ding, ding, ding again. But I will
Yeah,
say
no.
it's just because the Bills' offense is really good. So I don't think that the book's going to be stupid on this. It's probably, like, I'm probably way off.
Okay.
Am I or not?
48.5.
Okay, so I'm not way off.
They're both games are the exact same.
It is the early line, so it could change.
Oh, it's going to change
It
because
will.
you're going to get a lot of people betting tonight that are going to come in
Yeah.
heavy on one team.
You'll also
one
get the
game.
weather for both games.
Yep. Well, they say bet dogs or
Okay.
because lines tend to get tighter.
Hmm.
But I will say for the Chiefs, it's like I expected 3. I think I have to take the Bills with if you're going to give me points on them.
Yeah, no,
But
I'm
I think
full.
a lot of bettors have made money betting the Chiefs, even though they're favorites, because if it's close lines, the Chiefs just tend to win. And so I think you're going to get tons of money coming in on the Chiefs -1.5. So I wouldn't be surprised if the line does move to 3 by next week or by the time we make our actual video for
Yeah, give me the Bills.
+1.5.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I don't see the Chiefs winning this game. I'm just being honest. I don't see them winning this game at all.
And then your lean would be over, or
My lean would be over. Give me an alt spread. I might do that in our prediction video or in our actual video for the game. I might throw that in as a pick for my 4 pick. We'll see. I don't know. Or maybe it'll just be a side bet that I'll throw in there. But you can get good money if you do an alt spread. I've done that before, and I might do an alt
okay.
spread of like 6.
Oh, like you'll take Bills +6
I'll take Bills -6.
to win by a touchdown.
Yeah. I
Interesting.
honestly, like, everything in my being is telling me Bills win this game by a lot, and this is Josh's revenge, and it's him exposing the Chiefs that they're not to the level of the Bills, and I see the Bills
But
winning
they
this game
are.
by 10. I don't think they are. To be completely honest with you, I don't think that they are. I think the Texans was an easy matchup for them, and then they also had the bye. Like, they played against the Texans. Like, Texans defense, sure, they're decent. They were able to keep the Chiefs to 23. I think
Sure.
the way that the Bills defense played tonight, I don't see the Chiefs being able to score a ton of points on them. We'll see, obviously, when the game happens. But early, well, this is early, so it's all hypothetical right now.
Mhm.
But yeah, I see. I might end up just taking a
They
alt
they
spread.
let Lamar score 25. That's not like a great performance.
No, but whose team is?
Without Zay
But
Flowers.
okay, whose offense is better? Like right now, whose offense would you say is better, the Chiefs or the
Bro,
Ravens?
the Chiefs haven't scored 30 points all year.
If the Bills score 30 points, they win. Give me the Bills to score 30 points.
If you take Bills -6.5, it's +210.
Yeah, see, I was hoping for something a little bit higher.
I know that seems kind of pathetic,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
right. It seems like, is it really worth it? I'd rather just take like a Dalton Kincaid to get a touchdown. Like,
Or you just double the money you'd put on Bills plus the 1.5, or take
yeah,
Bills money line +105.
yeah, exactly. That's what I would do instead, for sure.
Yeah,
As opposed to having them have to win by 6 and get an extra +100 on it.
but I mean, this is 2 games now in a row where the Bills spread is at 1.5 points. They're +1.5 against the Ravens, and now they're +1.5 against the Chiefs. So if they do pull this off and they win this game, then you got to get the Bills at plus. You got plus money on the 2 Bills games where they go in and win. And
And guess
the
what?
Bills have not been.
And guess
The
what?
Bills, you haven't gotten points on the Bills
When they go to the
a
Super
lot
Bowl,
this year.
when they go to the Super Bowl, they probably will not be +1.5. Commanders or Eagles,
I
they're gonna be
think
minus money. If they do win this
if it's
game and they go to the Super Bowl, they're gonna go minus money on the Bills for sure.
if it's Bills Eagles, you think it's going to be minus
I think
Bills or
I think
minus
it'll.
6?
I don't know. It's a neutral field, so I think it'd be like, yeah, probably -1.5 on the Bills. They're not gonna
Yeah,
have a big
that's what I'm
spread.
saying.
Yeah, but it won't be +1.5, regardless of who they play. So I think the Bills will be favored in any matchup here with Eagles and
Really?
Commanders. Yeah,
I think the Eagles, if I get plus, if it becomes Eagles Bills, which
yeah.
was what I said I hoped the matchup would be in our playoff video a couple weeks like before the wild card games have been played. If I get plus on the Eagles, I think I'm taking it. Bills have never even been to a Super Bowl. Eagles were there just 2 years ago. It's basically the same team,
And they added Saquon. So yeah, I could see
and they
that,
had
but
Saquon.
at the same time too, like I don't know.
And Derrick Henry got to 89, 90 yards tonight
Yeah,
against the Bills, and Saquon
yeah,
had more rushing yards on the season than
anyone.
Derrick did.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll
So
see. I don't know. If the Eagles win, they're going to be rolling, and I think Saquon will have a big game against the Commanders. So we'll see.
the current odds for Super Bowl +180. Philadelphia Eagles, they're the favorites.
The
Kansas City
Eagles are
Chiefs
the
+240.
favorites to
Yep,
win it,
Chiefs are +240. Bills +260. Commanders +650.
+650 on the Commanders to win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
That seems like a good bet.
And guess who the favorite is for next year?
That has to be the Chiefs.
Yep.
Yeah, of course. Then the Lions are second, right?
Bills.
Oh, then
Then
Lions, or is it then
nope. Then
Ravens?
Ravens.
Yeah.
Then Eagles. Lions are tied at 800 +800.
Okay.
But Commanders have moved into sixth.
Hey, there you go. Good for the
Bengals sitting there at
Commanders.
a little +2000. I like that a lot.
Yeah. What about the Colts?
Colts
Plus
are all the way at the
22,000.
bottom.
Plus 100,000.
Uh,
Yeah.
8,000. 8,000.
Okay. Yeah. Might have to do that
Packers right
again.
behind the Bengals.
Yep. They're a contender.
Plus 2,200. So,
Yeah.
all right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our video. This was just a fun, shooting the breeze, letting you guys know what we thought, and kind of a recap on how the games went and how our bets went. A little look ahead to kind of our early leans on the games coming up, and we'll see if those lines move at all. Matt, anything else to say before we sign off here?
Nope.
This was kind of
No.
a longer video, about an hour and a half, I think, right?
Yeah, about an hour and a half. It's 10 o'clock. We started around 8:30. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
8:49. So, yeah. Well, thanks for watching. If you guys were tuning in the future, it doesn't seem like anybody was here during the live stream. So, don't
That's
worry.
fine.
It's okay. We're used to it. So we're gonna get to that point where we're gonna start having people. Like make comments. Well, it'll be longer of a live stream because we'll have to be answering people's questions and stuff like that too. But keep the
Mm-hmm.
comments coming on the shorts and the videos. We love proving you guys wrong. It's twice now that you guys have said something about a pick and then the pick has actually hit. So shows who's actually the smart one, who has a YouTube channel, who doesn't. So just keep sticking around, keep being haters. That's fine. Keep doubting. I guess not hater, but keep being a doubter. And we'll keep beating the book, and hopefully you guys join us, for the ride. We got 2 weeks left of football. We got the champs games, then we got the Super Bowl. So, yep. And then we are still trying to figure out if we're trying to bet on this the Manning brothers kick of destiny. So if we do, we'll let you guys know. We'll have a video about that. But yeah, other than that, we'll catch you guys in our next video. It's coming out here in the next couple days. Enjoy the few days off, and then get ready, get your mind right, get your wallet right. Get ready to be able to beat the book. Protect the bag.
Amen.